Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Revolutionary Mind, and this video is going to be on my channel as well as Lethal Lady's channel. And this video is probably going to make some people angry. Some people probably won't be shocked by this, but it's just something I saw in the news and I wanted to talk about it. So I have this cell phone here. I have my old cell phone that still has some internet on it that I'm going to use to read this story to you. It says, former police chief pleads guilty to framing not one, not two, but three innocent black men. And you see the picture of this scumbag in the thumbnail, so you know who I'm talking about. Miami, Florida. We're going to Florida again. What a surprise. Okay? Former Biscayne Park Police Chief Raimundo Atesciano confessed at his plea hearing in Miami, Florida federal court last Friday that he ordered three of his officers to frame. I know you're not surprised. Three African-American men for burglaries in order to achieve a seemingly perfect property crimes record in his department in 2013. Due to his admission, now this is the part that sucks, but you still won't be surprised by it either. Due to his admission, his sentence is expected to be lessened. Yes, I said lessened, much to the dismay of the black community. Now, before I go on, I've heard this many times by other black YouTubers and by even some white people who don't like racism. They tell you that these cops will arrest certain people, they'll do certain dirty things behind the scenes, as you already know they do, to make a certain quota, quote unquote quota. That's right. If you can't see the guy, once again, I'm going to show you his face. So you know I'm not lying to you about the support. This is him right here, if you can see him. That's him right there. This scum sucker right here. He had no problem doing that just to make a quota. Because when they make their quota, it makes the department look good. It makes the person in charge look good too. Alright? 5 years ago, from this date anyway, 2018, 2013, 5 years ago, Atesciano boasted of his department's exceptional 100% clearance rate on burglaries in Biscayne Park. Last week, however, he pleaded guilty to a conspiracy charge of depriving three men, one of which was 16 years old, of their civil rights because he and his officers framed them just to perfect his department's records. That's right. Atesciano's conviction initially carried a sentence of up to 10 years, but because of his guilty plea, prosecutors are now recommending only a 2-year sentence. How? And I'm going to curse in this video. I don't care if I'm this particular person and I don't curse with this particular character, but how the fuck does a man who pleads guilty to doing something, especially framing three other men, okay, get less time because he gave you a confession? That makes no sense. Or is it because the people are black and it doesn't really matter what happens to black people? I don't know. But to me, no man should be left the hook for what he's done. He shouldn't be getting, what did I say? He's getting a 2-year sentence out of 10 years. So they just automatically, they take 8 years off because he decided that he wanted to tell the truth about what he did. Him and his department did. What he ordered his people in his department to do. I would have been perfectly fine with this son of a bitch getting 8 years if he didn't get the full 10. But for him to go from 10 years to 2 years, this is madness. Absolute madness. And you wonder why black people complain and say they never get justice. You wonder why. This is a great example right here. So let's move on. Atesciano is now 52 years old, which means he was 47 when he did this bullshit. He resigned in 2014, a year after, from the police force. He is about to face trial last Monday. I think they meant to say he was about to face trial last Monday when he changed his plea. His lawyer, Richard Dokobo, I can't make these names if I wanted to, negotiated the plea agreement with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Although the federal case does not consider race a factor, yeah, bullshit, race wasn't a factor. It was a fucking huge factor in this case. It is important to note that all three victims were black. One of those is Clarence Desroloy, who had to spend 5 years in jail for a crime he did not commit and was deported to Haiti last year. That's really screwed up. That's really screwed up. And I've heard of sentences that black men have had that have been worse than that. There was a black man that was in jail for over 20 to 25 years for a murder of a police officer that he did not commit. It was another black man that did it. There was also a black man that was in jail for the murder of a police officer and one that was in jail for drugs. And both were framed by these police officers that had nothing but hate and racism in them. And it's sad that we have to live in a world like this, that we have to live in a society like this. But this is how it is, people. This is how it is. And I hate to say that this is how it is, but it's true. You can say whatever you want, but this is reality right here. This is just how it is. It sucks, yes, but this is the reality of the world that we live in. So let me get back to this here. All right. The guy that was deported, Desroloy, excuse me, who is now 41 years old, is filing a separate lawsuit against the police department for false imprisonment and civil rights violations after the Biscayne Park police chief and his officers basically ruined his life. And they did. This man has to go on saying he has a criminal record. When you put that down, it's harder for you to get a job. Even though it's still hard for a black man to get a job now, but it's even harder when you have a criminal record. They will not even look at you twice the majority of the time on most of these jobs. Let's continue. He said two of the indicted cops, Charlie Diob and Guillermo Ravello, sound like Spanish people or Mexican, I'm not even sure, or maybe Italian, targeted him on purpose because of his past history of arrests. Okay, so he had a criminal past. Okay. According to the lawsuit, he was threatened with even more jail time if he didn't own up to the burglaries, so he pleaded guilty to a crime he didn't really commit, only to avoid spending most of his life behind bars. So he was intimidated into lying. He was intimidated by police officers, as they do many times behind the scenes. They intimidated him to admit to doing this so that he will go to jail and the captain, or whoever the fuck this guy is, will look good, and the department will look good as well. The true definition of a dirty cop. You have to excuse what's going on back here. That's my laundry back here, so, you know, that's what you're seeing right now. That's why I'm trying to move the camera away, because I know some of you can get distracted by this. So let me move over here to where my bike is at, and we can go from there. The bags behind me just have, like, some stuff I bought from the grocery that's sitting on a chair right now. All right, so let's get back into this now. Let me just open this phone back up. You know, apparently these phones have passcodes on them. I got to put it back in, so sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Moreover, Atesiano's cops told internal investigators that the chief said that if you see anybody black walking through our streets and they have somewhat of a record, arrest them. Arrest them so we can pin them for all the burglaries. That's some dirty shit if I ever heard of it. That's some dirty, dirty shit. Atesiano is scheduled to appear in court for his sentencing on November 27th. The son of a bitch is going to jail. That's the end of it. That's the end of it right there. The son of a bitch is going to jail for 2 years. 2 years out of 10 years. He basically gets off scot-free for telling the world that for admitting that he set these people up, for admitting that he told his officers to arrest anybody that's black that has a record, because it makes it look believable that they will do these burglaries. This is not something new, ladies and gentlemen. It is a shock that this man got 2 years out of 10. But then again, majority of you won't be shocked about this because this happens all the time. This is the so-called, quote-unquote, justice system. The justice system works for anybody but us. Works for everybody else, just not us. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then you still got this woman, Amber Geiger, who shot and murdered that young man in his home. Still telling lies, and the police force are still covering for her. They're still making excuses and trying to badmouth this man and his death when he can't defend himself. And I'm glad his mother came out and called that woman that killed her son a devil, because that is exactly what she is. She is a damn devil. I don't care who you are. Everybody knows where they live. Everybody, unless you have amnesia, unless you have Alzheimer's, everybody knows where they live. If you live on the first floor and you're going all the way up to the third floor, there is something wrong with you. We know that this woman knew this man somehow. They didn't date, as far as I know. But they're doing everything they can to put the blame on him instead of putting the blame where it belongs, on this woman. They put the blame on these black men and made them look like they were the criminals when they did nothing wrong, regardless of them having a criminal history or whatever. Petty crimes here and there, okay? But using them for scapegoats so that they can get a quota and they could look good in the eyes of the public. That's what this is all about. And you know why this is dangerous, ladies and gentlemen? Because my brothers out there, this could happen to you. This could happen to me. This could happen to our children. This could happen to the black woman out there. Look what happened to Sandra Bland, that beautiful black woman that was killed in jail. And we know it was a cover-up with that. But I'm telling you, this could happen to any of us. This is bad. And the fact that the criminal, quote-unquote, justice system allows these people to get off when they clearly are guilty of what they've done. And these innocent people had to pay the price, years out of their lives behind bars for nothing, is not fair. A 10-year sentence reduced to 2 years because a man who was guilty of telling his people to do this heinous and disgusting thing of framing people for things they didn't do decided to have a conscience. So the court suddenly feels sympathy for him and will give him a lighter sentence. Why not 5 years? He deserves more than 5 years, yes. But why not 5 years if you don't want to give him the 10 years? Give him half the sentence. Or like I said earlier, give him 8 years if you don't give him the full 10. But to take a 10-year sentence that he belongs, that he deserves to have, he deserves even more than that after taking people's lives like that. Not killing them, but taking their lives away from them and punishing them for nothing. The stuff they had to endure in that prison, the hatred they had to endure from white supremacists in that prison, having to fight for their lives every day with murderers and rapists and all kinds of evil men in that prison. You can't put a price on that. But this man should have done time. He should have done hard time. 2 years will be nothing for him. Nothing. And they'll probably try to post bail on this son of a bitch before he goes to 2 years. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the evil that men do. Plain and simple. It is the evil that men do. I'm telling you. And I still got my body. I'm still working out. I got to make sure I'm in shape because any day, any minute, something can go down. And I got to make sure I'm in physical fitness, physical shape here to be ready for anything. But that's all I got right now, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got. This is going to go on the Revolutionary Minds channel. The Revolutionary Mind, that's right. And it's going to go on the main channel, Lethal Ladies channel. Because this is crazy. Absolutely ridiculous. And it's sad that these 3 innocent men had to, and a young man, I should say, 2 innocent men and 1 innocent young man had to spend time behind bars for something they didn't do. I'd be pissed. Now this guy, one of the guys that the 41-year-old that's been pushed back to Haiti, been deported, he's gonna try to fight this, but I doubt he'll win. Because we know how this system is. It's just not designed for us to win. No, even if we're innocent. Even if we did nothing wrong. It's not designed for us to win. It's designed for them to win. I'll talk to you guys next time.